As the cicadas scream in the distance, CSX 911 leads E700 past the L&N Era Coaling Tower in Chaska, Tennessee. More on that coming up next. We begin our day in Corbin, Kentucky, where M542 has brought a certain locomotive that we had yet to see. Trailing second was CSX 4720, the 1CSX tribute unit. When it rolled out of Waycross on New Year's Eve, it marked a point of completion regarding CSX's Heritage Series, adding that extra cherry on top for both CSX employees and rail fans alike. The paint scheme carries the logos of all 14 labor unions on the side, paying tribute to the roughly 23,000 employees across the CSX system. We had traveled to Corbin in hopes of finding the 4720, however we soon learned of a couple oncoming trains to the south. With this knowledge acquired, we loaded up and headed down the KD to see what we could find. We're here in Chaska, Tennessee, checking out the old Chaska coaling tower. This thing was built by the L&N in order to have a place to refuel their pushers that would help them here on the KD subdivision. Coal would come out of those chutes and into the coal tenders of the steam engines. Of course, there's one there and another one over here. And we've got this extra building back here. Now, I would assume that this was a kind of a base of operations of sorts for the pusher sets back in the day. Kind of let y'all take a look in here and see kind of what we're dealing with. One of the last few in existence to my knowledge. This one, of course, an L&N. I believe there's some still on the N&W and maybe some on the Southern. Maybe a few L&N left. But you know, that's just a really cool sight to be able to come down here and take a look at this thing. Right there's, of course, the other chute where tenders could have been reloaded with coal. But we're going to swing back by here in a little bit. Catch a train or two maybe coming by this here at Chaska. For the time being, we're going to head a little further south. X542 is working Knoxville as we speak, so we're going to head a little further south and see if we can find a place, maybe around a rocky top, where we can catch it. But we will catch you guys in the next clip as we head south on the KD subdivision. This is Ralph and Micah Turner. After our stop at Chaska, we headed for Rocky Top, where we would intercept northbound E700 with CSX 911 on point. The town sports the name of the iconic bluegrass tune introduced by the Osborne brothers back in 1967, though if you ask the locals, the name is only good to the song. Until 2014, the town here was known as Lake City, yet to the public's demise was changed to better suit the area for tourism purposes. The average passerby would likely make the blatantly obvious connection, yet to the locals and even the railroad, Lake City is the God-given name that will rule on. Having passed M542 at Edgemore, E700 was making good time on its trip north. We were back on the road to Chaska a few minutes later, where the echo of the engines could be heard through the valley as the consists climbed towards Corbin. Back in Kentucky, our next spot I had spied out on our trip south that morning, noticing a steel truss bridge in Williamsburg. Having waded through a thicket of overgrowth, we stood trackside as the spirit of our first responders raced by yet again. As we pace E700 through rockholds, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the events of the night prior. In the late evening hours of May 16th, a violent EF4 tornado rocked through Kentucky, claiming 19 lives in its wake. The tornado crossed paths with the CC subdivision north of Corbin through the town of London, devastating the homes and neighborhoods of the area. I found it fitting that the 9/11 had made an appearance in the area the day after, as it represented the spirit and resilience that our first responders portray as they work to help those in need that night. One of the victims in the tornado's path was Major Leslie Roger Leatherman, a firefighter with 39 years of service with the Laurel County Fire Department. Leatherman sadly passed away whilst protecting a civilian from debris, who was later found to be his wife. The disaster was a major impact to the area, the rebuilding process of which has just begun. I dedicate this video to those impacted by the tornado, and I'll provide a link in the description for anyone who would like to help those in need. My thoughts and prayers are with them all.
To the circle, here we go.
On the outskirts of Corbin, we once again set up at Bacon Creek as E700 entered the yard. Once tied down, the crew would cut the engines off and take them to the circle track to tie down, where they would be refueled for the trip going north towards Cincinnati. Ironically, a year to the day earlier, we had given chase to the 911 down the Kingsport subdivision towards Irwin, and so it seemed fitting that our primary pursuit of the day was yet again my favorite locomotive on the CSX system. We packed our gear back into the truck and went back south of Corbin to intercept the M542 mentioned earlier, but that's an adventure for another time. Thank you all for tuning in to this Railfan Micah Turner adventure. If you liked what you've seen, consider subscribing so you don't miss the next one. Until next time, from the coalfields, this is Railfan Micah Turner. God bless y'all.